welcome to today's segment of The Power of Money. I'm your host, Michelle Graves, affectionately known for the last 30 years as the Money Lady throughout the United States and globally. As always, I'm delighted to be a part of your world for the next hour and to bring you information that can help you and your family to prosper financially as well as in other areas of your life, because you know it's more than just money. The Bible says that, beloved, I would that you prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. So I only say this because as we are concluding the year 2016 and rapidly moving into 2017, I have a refocus of my show, and I'm going to be covering more and more health and wellness issues, because it doesn't matter how much money you have, how much money you've accumulated, how much money you're spending if you're not healthy. The ravages of sickness are real, particularly as you become older. So I am just giving you a heads up to my viewers, my faithful viewers over the many, many years I've been on the air doing this show, that I have made that transition into not just talking about money and resources, etc., but also talking about your health and your wellness. It is so important. I am not kidding you. As you grow older, that your health habits be habits that are going to sustain you through your life. It's not funny, amusing, jokingly, I say this, lightheartedly, I try to be, but it's really not. Because when you're dealing with diabetes and high blood pressure and arthritis, oh my God, as well as cancer and kidney, liver problems, just all the myriad of problems that we're facing as we become older. I say over and over and over again, it's about trying to get your act together. And you don't owe anybody an apology, by the way. If you choose to go cold turkey and do just healthy veggies and fruit and organic fish and meat, whatever, you don't owe anybody an explanation as to why you choose to live. Young people can do whatever they want to do. As I tell them, you've got time on your side. But I can tell you at the great age of, I'll be 65 in 2 months, I am very, very, very observant of so much around me, especially stress. Let me tell you again, stress will mess you up. It'll mess you up, and it'll cause you complications in all other areas of your life. So that's my intro today as I move into today's broadcast, where I'm going to be talking about the senior crisis. And for you young people that say, oh, this isn't relevant to me, I'm here to tell you, do you have parents? They're getting older. Do you have living grandparents? They've got issues. And what about yourself? Are you beginning to lay a foundation so that when you get my age, you will look my age, you'll feel great, and you will have resources, financial resources in place so that you will not have to struggle through retirement? Because I'm going to tell you what the number one concern of all seniors, including myself, is: will I outlive my resources? This is real. This is real. This is real. Will I outlive my resources? And the second concern, which is just as real, is will I be in a situation where someone has to take care of me? And that can be in the form of family, don't think so, or a skilled care facility, formerly known as nursing home. These are two very real fears that seniors have today. And frankly, I'm not upset about them being concerned about that. That's real. To be old and broke in America and to be dependent upon others to take care of your daily needs is not only frightening, it can be devastating. This is what I do for a living, viewers. I've been involved with handling money, retirement planning, pre-retirement planning, real estate. All of these things comprise my little portfolio of, I can do that. But I'm going to tell you, I've been reaching out over all these years, helping people with free help and all the things that go along with helping people. But as I've grown older, I've had to take a hard look at Michelle. And one of the things that I have concluded in looking at Michelle is that Michelle needs to take care of Michelle first before I can take care of others. So I only say that as an admonition to all of you listening. You make sure that notwithstanding grandchildren, children, church, social obligations, family obligations, you make sure as you grow older that you take care of you. Did you hear me? It is not a sin to take care of you first. You can't love other people if you haven't been loving on you. And I'm not talking about all that crazy stuff with selfies and click, 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 click. I'm talking about laying a foundation that will ensure that your latter years will be awesome. Can you imagine what God has done as we get older? First and foremost, your children, if you have them, and many of us do, are grown and gone. I pray they're gone. I pray they're gotten on with their lives and are having their own children and experiencing life as a young person. Nothing like it. I mean, goodness gracious. You feel that the world is your oyster, that you can just make it happen. And that's youth. That's a time that God gives us to just be spontaneous and to enjoy our lives. Okay? So, again, and I say this because that's all good. But as you grow older, the kids are gone. Hopefully, you are now looking at having a little extra money to begin to do some things that you would like to do. Hopefully, you've put aside money over the years, extra money. When I say that, emergency money, as well as spending money. You say, well, you know, Michelle, that's not easy. And I will say to you, no, discipline never is easy. It's discipline. You take care of you first. You make sure you got those little envelopes with money, whether it's in the bank or whether it's in your purse or whether it's in the closet or whether it's under a tree, but you make sure you have something in place. Just spare money, emergency money. And it's very important because as you get older, there are some things that you're going to want to do that you weren't thinking about when you were younger. And I only say this because as a part of my private practice, I work with many young people. I don't put as much time in young people as I do with seniors because we're the ones that are in trouble. And why do I say that? The baby boomers. Yep, that's us. Born after World War II up until 1964. It was a bunch of us, the largest population group in America. Men came home from war and women took care of them and they started having babies because that's what people do. And they had homes and they began to populate. And so here you have this group called the baby boomers. You say, what's the big deal about the baby boomers? Let me tell you what the big deal is about the baby boomers. For starters, 10,000 a day are leaving the workplace. That's major. That's mind-boggling. 10,000 people a day are leaving the workplace. And what are they doing? They're retiring. This is the largest demographic shift this country has ever experienced. huge. Where are all these people going? I don't know, but they're not in the workplace. And that phenomenon is going to continue for the next 20 years. Now, what is the impact? Major on everything. Because as people move out of the workplace and move into a retirement phase, their needs and expectations are different. They've spent their entire work years, accumulating resources, educating their children, taking care of their parents in many instances, possibly taking care of grandchildren. That's an emerging phenomenon that has long-lasting implications. But all of these things are going on. So they're building, climbing up the mountain, climbing. And they get to the top of the mountain. And they're like, you know what? I'm out. Time for me to live my life. Okay? Because you've worked taking care of somebody else, running companies, working for companies. And now you say, it's time for me. I want to do this. So you're at the top of the mountain, but nobody tells you, including your wonderful advisors, counselors, etc. Nobody tells you when you get to the top of the mountain what to do as you're coming down. One thing you do know is that my income is no longer guaranteed. I have to live on fixed resources, fixed income, Social Security, which is fixed, pension, if you're lucky, 401k, 403b, IRAs, which are assets that were put into accounts that you didn't pay taxes on, but are available now for you to begin to pull out to enhance your income. You may have a home, but if you're like 68% of retirees today, you got a mortgage on that home. And I'm going to talk to you about that, because if you think it's tough paying a mortgage when you're working, do you know what it feels like when you're not working? And again, a house requires all kinds of upkeep, maintenance, etc., etc. Maybe in your retirement, you'd like to have that dream kitchen. Or maybe you'd like to do some other things to your home. But if you're struggling to make a mortgage, and like I said, the statistics are pretty clear, 68% of seniors that are coming out have a mortgage. That's not workable. I'm just telling you, it's not workable, and it'll drain your resources. So we have some answers for that in my little portfolio of products to help you, which is what I'm going to be talking about today as a part of this whole conversation about the senior crisis. Now, why do I call it a crisis? Number one, our nation is not prepared for the number of people coming out of the workplace. Not prepared at all. Everybody's been talking about it. I mean, I've been a certified senior advisor since 1999. That's a long time. We were talking about it then, but now it is here. And all you got to do is look around you, and you'll see it all around you. I'm not talking about the elderly. Those are people over 80. I'm talking about seniors that's 60 to 79. It's a 20-year span, actually, of people who are trying to get out of the workplace and are facing all kinds of unexpecteds. And our country is most unexpected. I mean, for real, it is. And I don't want to digress, because today is election day in the United States, wherever you're watching this, because we do broadcast on YouTube as well. But today is the election. And there are some key states that have large numbers of seniors who are going to be casting their vote. And I'm here to tell you, this group of seniors today is not like the seniors of past. They're smart. They know the issues, and they have wisdom because they've been around. So it's hard to come to conclusions when you're looking at people who are over 100 years old. By the way, that is the fastest growing group of aged. They call them centenarians. They live over 100. There's a bunch of them, and their numbers are growing. Why? Because thanks to medical technology, you can put a hip on, you can put a knee, you can put them on medications, and people can live. And also because, again, of quality of life issues, there are many seniors that are extremely vibrant over 100. I have several that are friends. And I'm going to tell you, it's very humbling to be jogging and one of them passes you by. Okay? You're like, what? Exactly. So no stereotypes, forget that because we're not in that day. But again, the government did not anticipate these people living. In fact, Social Security was created with the expectation that people would never file claims because they would be dead. So the age was 65. Well, the actual mortality at that time when FDR put Social Security into place was not 65. Most people were dead at 65. So it was not a benefit that was ever expected to be used. And yet today, it is the bedrock of most seniors' financial plan, which is they count on that money coming in to help make things go. It's considered the precious goose, so to speak, with the egg that's golden. Major. Can we keep Social Security going with all of these millions of people coming out of the system that are doing something that the government didn't anticipate? They're taking early Social Security. They're taking a drop in income to get their money. Why? Because they need it. They need it. And they are tired of working. So again, the government wasn't prepared and isn't prepared for all of these people that are coming out of the workplace that don't have enough savings, that don't have enough resources in their tax qualified plans and need to take early retirement and are still trying to make those monthly mortgage payments. Whew, it makes me fan. It really does, because it is so real today. Am I talking to somebody out there? I hope I am. So we've got this phenomena. Now overlay people coming out with you're older now. Not only are you coming out of the workplace, but you're older and your body is not all that great. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news here, because I work out, I have a personal trainer, I eat healthy, but you know what? I got to talk to myself in the morning. I got to tell myself, now you really got to get up. I got to talk to my legs. I got to talk to my arms. I got to talk to my brain and tell it, come on now, snap up, snap out, let's get moving. I don't know if this is you, but this is a part of aging. It is. Things don't click as fast. You have to write lists. I mean, my daughter was coming. She says, Mom, do you write a list? I said, if I want to remember, I better write a list. Things that we took for granted when we were younger, we can't take for granted anymore. We love to sleep. Why? Because your body's tired, okay? Your body's like, can I get some sleep? A nap? I remember when I was younger, I used to say, why are they always napping? You know why they're napping? Because they're tired, okay? Their hard drive is like, whew, I'm tired. So these are things. Now, what's the impact of all this? Well, one of the impacts that you didn't budget for or anticipate is medical expenses. Okay? We can talk about long-term care. Forget that right now. Medical expenses. Things break down. Things have to be paid for. Now, if you are not, you've retired, and you did not look at this before you retired, I know that you can tell me right now, if I had only known, I may have stayed. Medicare is health insurance for people who are over the age of 65 and for certain disabled groups. It is health insurance, okay? You pay for it. It's deducted from your monthly Social Security check. Okay? You must register, you're required 3 months before you turn 65 or 3 months after. Whether you are working in the workplace or not, you still have to enroll. Okay, in fact, we're in it right now, this open enrollment. People have to enroll. And every year they enroll and make decisions about who they want to be their providers. However, if you retire at 60 and your health insurance doesn't kick in till 65, federal, you got a 5-year gap. And if your employer is not paying for your coverage at retirement, and trust me when I tell you, that ain't happening today. Employers are like, bye. Then I would urge you, before you made a retirement decision, to look at all of your options before you walk out that door. And I say this because I have advised, I don't know how many people about this. When they say, well, why do I need to come in to you? I said, because I'm getting ready to give you a reality check. And I'm going to give you things that you need to do before you turn in your paperwork. First and foremost is to check with your HR department if you work for a larger firm and find out exactly what they give you when you retire. You may find that your life insurance coverage is reduced dramatically. That $50,000 or $70,000 or even $100,000 group life plan ends when you leave, or severely reduced. That's major. You're like, you're kidding me. I don't have any coverage. What if I die? And I'm like, well, that's called self-insured. Unless you have a private insurance plan or have adequate savings to cover your burial costs, including cremation, it's all money, then that's something you need to know. Now, I'm talking to you as a conversation because most people get really, really hyper in not a good way when you start talking about money and financial decisions. But all these things, if not addressed, will affect your stress level. Remember I talked to you about stress? Stress is real. You don't have things in order, and you will find your blood pressure rising. You will find your ability to process information compromised, all because you didn't know and now you're walking through it. So this is where I come in. I'm helping you today. So we're just talking about it. So check with HR and see what you got. See what you don't have, and begin to go into the market and find yourself some kind of alternatives. As much as we may decry the Affordable Care Act, that can be a lifesaver for those of you who are coming out of the workplace with no coverage. COBRA is very expensive. That's the continuing benefit that you can get when you leave. The company will send you to their carrier and you can be insured as a private individual. Extremely expensive, okay, for most people. So again, I'm putting it out here so that you can look at what you have going now. And I will also say to all of you, the wonderful days of cheap health insurance under your employer, out the door, out the door, out the door. Why? Because they underwrote you under a group risk assessment, meaning they muddled your history in with everybody else. If you had a lot of young people who don't have health problems, for the most part, because they're young, then your premiums tended to be extremely low and unrealistically low, because again, under a group plan, you're taking the good and the bad and you're mushing it all together. When you're out here on your own, you really need to know what your options are. And I would say to you, the sooner, the better. Now, what about reemployment? You say, well, I just get another job. Hold it. Stop. Stop, right? Stop. Stop. Most employers don't want to hire older workers. It has nothing to do with your ability and your intellect. It has to deal with health insurance premiums. Really expensive. your problems can cause a problem for them. You will find opportunities if you're going into the workplace to increase if you're considering temporary positions, working for temporary agencies, that type of thing. Why? Because no benefits, you're in and out, get a W-2, but nothing. So again, I'm putting this out here as things to think about, because this is why the subject this morning, afternoon, wherever you're watching it, is about the senior crisis. We've got all these people coming out of the workplace in the thousands, 10,000 a day for the next 20 years. Nobody's prepared for them. They aren't even prepared. It's a good idea, which is, oh my God, I can finally live my life. And I tell folks, that's interpretive. What is your life going to look like when you come out of a workplace where you don't have adequate financial resources, where you haven't laid out a plan for yourself, and where, again, according to AARP, the two major concerns of seniors are, am I going to outlive my financial resources? And secondly, am I going to be dependent on somebody else to take care of me? And those are real concerns. Now, seniors do have other concerns as we look at what they're doing and concerned about. In the financial side, they want to make sure that the money they have is not, how do I put it, tactfully. The money that they have now will be growing, okay, and will provide an adequate cushion as they move ahead. They want to be able to address the impact on their federal and state taxes. Just because you're retired does not mean that you don't have to pay taxes anymore. That really is fairyland. That's not going to happen. The government's always going to be collecting taxes. Remember all that money you put in that 401k that you didn't pay taxes on? The shock that most people that I deal with, they're like, you're kidding me. When I start pulling this money out, I got to pay taxes. I said, you didn't pay taxes when you put it in. You will be paying taxes when it comes out. And at 70 and a half, you will be required to pull that money out under a schedule. It's known as an RMD, required minimum distribution. Aha! You thought that the IRS was going to let you leave that money in there forever and then pass it on to your kids and wife. No, that's not going to happen like that. They're concerned, again, as they grow older with these the medical issues of my health, disability. Can I make do with it? And this is another area, and that is long-term care. I'm not talking about health care. I'm talking about when you need help, when you can't do for yourself. And for the record, there are a lot of young people that are dealing with disability as well. But I'm talking about the over 60 group, okay, seniors. And how do you plan properly for that? If you are forward thinking, you will, while you're still working, get a long-term care insurance policy. That's a specialty product. And again, it provides you, depending upon the plan you get, with some wonderful benefits, including the ability to stay in your own home. I mean, I don't have anything against skilled care. I really don't, because it plays a need 24-hour-a-day help. But some people would like to stay home. And that only happens where you're getting money if you have a long-term care plan. Also, if you are under a state partnership plan, it's a specialty product which states that if the insurance company is a partnership plan, that whatever benefits you have, should you have to go into long-term care under Medicaid, mind you, Medicaid is long-term custodial care, not Medicare. Medicare is not Medicaid. But if you have to go into Medicaid, which is essentially a long-term care custodial program for the poor, because you will be poor. Under Medicaid, they take everything for the most part. They do leave you with, I think it's $2,000 as of this past August. That's it. That's all you get. You get a little bit of an allowance every month, a little bit. But if you don't want to play it like that under the partnership, if you have $300,000 of benefit under this private plan, Medicaid, when you go under Medicaid in a skilled care environment, will exempt from asset seizure $300,000. That's money that can go on to your heirs, to your wife, to whomever. That's nice to me. If you're going to lose everything, and you will lose everything when you move into a government program called Medicaid, then if you had that long-term care insurance product, that could be a nice nest egg for your children, grandchildren, wife, okay? Just trying to give you some suggestions out of my little portfolio of solutions, because I am solution-oriented. Now, for those of you that are in the stock and bond market at your age, may I submit to you that you need to sit down with your advisor and ask them to come up with another plan for you, because stocks go up and stocks go down. They're bipolar. I shouldn't say it like that, but stocks go up and they go down. And you can't predict that. When your younger years, where you had time on your side, that was okay. But as you grow older, I'd like to say that people need to look at another type of product. Let me pull out of my bag annuities. Now, before you say, what's an annuity? I will say to you, do you get Social Security? And if your answer is yes, and I will say, well, that's an annuity. You get a guaranteed income every month, in this case, until you die. An annuity, a private annuity, works the same exact way, only it's not administered by the government. But you are guaranteed income, okay? There are all kinds of annuities. Some I like, some I hate. Oh my God, the fees, you got to look at the print carefully. And you really do need someone to walk you through it. You really do. There are all kinds of carriers out here. And again, annuities can be extremely powerful to give you guaranteed income, okay? Guaranteed income. I would talk more about it, but all I'm going to say to you is that that needs to be on your bucket list of things you want to do. You do not want all your money in the stock and bond market. That's foolish, subject to market risk. And that's day by day. That's why when you look at the Dow Jones, you look at the performance on NASDAQ and other indicators, you'll see up and down. Every day people are making money and every day people are losing money. You don't want to be in the category called losing money. And sorrowfully, the reality is there's no way you can get around it. Some losses are more severe than others. But I will say to you, again, we're having a conversation. We're not having a sit down with Michelle behind a big desk and looking at your stuff. I'm just talking to you about senior issues and about the crisis and why I want you to protect yourself, why I want you to structure your life so that you can be healthy, wealthy, and happy, which is stress-free. If you can have those three things going, you're going to be a centenarian as well. You're going to live past 100. Live to see your children have children have children. What a wonderful, wonderful thing. And have money to leave to them. That's even better. That's even better. My goodness gracious. Because you can't take it with you. And just as a sidebar, when I look at all these people that are billionaires, and I'm saying to myself, I swear to you, you can't take it with you. You can't take it with you. You can only spend so much. You can only have so many homes, so many cars. I mean, you can only drive one car at a time. You can only do this. And it's flawed. It's flawed to think at this point in your life, oh, if I could win the lottery, you're going to spend a lot of money and you're going to lose a lot of money. So the lottery was never designed to help you win. Okay, that's not I mean, go to Las Vegas, see it for yourself. It doesn't happen. So people call it entertainment, and I'm like, really? You like to blow money as a form of enjoyment? Let me send you to a good shrink, because you need to talk this out with somebody that can help you. Really. As you can see, I don't support gambling. I think that's a mental illness. It's got to be a mental illness. Who would do that? Blow a resource that's available to help you enjoy your life, particularly in your older years, to a machine or to a table, unless you're seasoned. And most people aren't, okay? So again, it's all about planning and preparation, and most importantly, and for some of you, you may press the button and say, I don't want to listen to her anymore because I don't like what she's telling me. Discipline. Yeah, it requires discipline to allocate your money and to find ways to have a plan that you should have really started in your 30s before bad habits set in. You know, that's an amazing thing about getting older. Bad habits really do set in. Good habits do too. But you become accustomed to doing something a certain way, and it's hard to make a change. It's just hard because you're like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. And I'm like, oh, no, you won't. You better do it now, because now is the only thing that matters. You don't know about tomorrow, but tomorrow's not promised. But I can tell you that discipline, self-control, whatever you want to call it, is everything. Let me give you a case in point. I did a seminar on money management not too long ago. And one of the ladies there was complaining bitterly that she didn't have any money. And so I asked her laughingly, well, where is it? And she said, well, I just buy Michael Kors purses. I love them. And I said to her, you want some money? And she said, yeah. I said, put all your purses on eBay. I said, better still go to your church and tell them I'm selling all my purses. Highest bid gets them. I said, how many purses do you have? And this lady said she had over 100. Well, if you have 100 purses, you got money, because you can convert those purses into cash. Now, you're not going to get what you probably think you will get, but that's why I suggested going to eBay. And she looked at me and she was like, you want me to sell my purses? And I said to her, you just told me you didn't have any money. And I just gave you an answer. Now, again, back to that discipline and self-control. I don't know what to tell you. You told me you didn't have any money. It takes discipline to organize your purses, get them priced out, and then put them on the net, pack them and send them. But the return is you now have money. And some of those purses that she had, she could have gotten $75, $100. I had another woman who had a fetish for Louis Vuitton bags. And I'm going to tell you, for those of you that don't know about LV, Louis Vuitton is top of the line. $2,000 purses. She put them all on her credit card. She's crying about her credit card, that she can't get her credit card paid off. I said, well, you're in luck, because Louis Vuitton bags are just in great demand. And I said, sell them and pay off your credit card. And she said, oh, but I love my bags. And I'm like, what don't I understand here? You are willing to pay 26% interest on a purse? What? Self-discipline, self-control. It'll get you to the finish line. It's called wisdom. Those are two actual cases that I dealt with. And all of you have your own little quirks. For men, you like to buy tools, you like to buy fishing stuff, you know, all those little fish and fake fish and stuff. You can go to any of the bass shops. That's some money. That's some money. But good for you, you can sell those too. It just depends on what is important to you. But whatever you do, recognize that when you retire, certain things you don't need to do anymore. One of the things is you don't need to run out and buy clothes all the time. You're not working. You're in a different phase in your life. Unless you're in professional practice where you have to look on the nines every day, you don't really have a reason to be running around shopping. Now, I'm not trying to put a damper on the experience, but self-control says I can look, I can enjoy, and I can leave. That's self-control, and that's a part of maturity. We need not be running in and out of stores like we cannot make it. Now, there's an exception, and that's Christmas, because if you got grandchildren, you're going to be a Toys R Us person. But again, self-control. That's money that could have been put aside so that when the holidays come, you'll have it available. You'll know how much you're going to spend, and that's it. Okay, that's it. IT, that's it. Finissimo, next. So you say, well, Michelle, this is just too hard. And I'm saying to you, I'm trying to help you to develop self-control, because some of the things that begin to happen to your body as you get older will require you to pay out of pocket. Okay, Medicare does not pay 100% of all your stuff. There is a deductible, depending upon the plan you have. And that's money out of pocket. Other things that come up as a part of aging, that's money out of pocket. If you want to deal with a naturopathic doctor, Medicare doesn't pay for that. And I happen to believe those are excellent resources. I mean, they're keeping people alive, drug-free. And doctors that may not have the same credentialing as your traditional doctor, acupuncture, those kinds of things. You got to pay for that. Yeah, you got to pay to stay healthy, okay? That's a fact. So again, if you don't have reserves to cover those things based upon your medical experience, then the outcomes are not so good. And you can address those things responsibly. Now, you can do a hard look at how you're spending, how you're saving, what kind of entertainment do you do. There's a lot of free stuff out here today. There's a lot out here that's free that I would like for you to take advantage of. Even going to movies, depending upon when you go. And if you go under a group, get a bunch of your people together and go as a group. It'll be fun. You don't have to eat the popcorn. Now, that's a deal breaker, the popcorn and the pop and the candy. But do that before you go there. Enjoy the fellowship and leave. And leave. Okay? And leave. These are things that are part of that transition that the country we live in is not prepared for. Okay? The other thing I tell people as you retire, you're going to get an AARP offer at 50. Yeah, that's 50. Okay, you're going there. You're going to be eligible for all kinds of discounts as a senior. But you have to ask for many of them, because they're not going to tell you. Ask them, do you offer any kind of discount to senior? Why? Because they need to be marketing to this group. Our numbers are huge. But ask them if there's a 10% off. Just do it. At a restaurant, do you offer senior discount? Don't be ashamed. There's nothing wrong with growing old or becoming older. You're not in a box in a grave. You're out here enjoying life and living life vibrantly. But you're taking advantage so that the money that you would be paying them, you can keep in your own pocket because you need it. Remember the outliving your financial resources worry? You can stop that by developing good habits, okay? And I want to say that. The other thing is a part of that transition in your bucket list is if you're dealing with a mortgage right now. I got great news for you. I'm serious. There is a program that was introduced 3 years ago, or I should say a new and improved version, called HECM, H-E-C-M, Home Equity Conversion Mortgage. 3 years ago, that program was completely revamped. Completely revamped. Again, targeting seniors only. You have to be 62 years of age or older. But under the program, you can pay off your mortgage, okay? If your mortgage is, how do I put it simply? They use a calculation that's based upon your age, the value of your home, and that number that they pop up with, say your home is worth $100,000, and say your mortgage is $30,000, and based on your age, you will qualify for $60,000. They pay off the $30,000, and you have $30,000 that you can put into a line of credit under this program that grows tax-free. Wow. You can use that money to improve, vacation, buy a car, whatever. It doesn't affect your Social Security. It doesn't affect any of those because it's considered a loan, okay? With no monthly payments. Did you hear me? No monthly payments for as long as you are in the home. You can sell the home if you want to move to another home, and you can use the HECM to buy another home. Can you believe that? That same program will allow you to buy another home with no more than 50% down payment. So you don't have to take all your money from the sale of your other home and buy a new home. The maximum would be 50%, again, with no monthly payments. What happens if you die and you're in the home? Well, it's a state law. The house would be paid off, whatever you owed the government, because this is a federally insured product. The heirs would pay off, the balance would convey. It's so sweet. It's stupid, as the young people say. It's just stupid. And you should take advantage of it. Age 62 and over. There's been a ton of information written about the product. Forbes, Huffington Post, I can go on. Journal of Financial Planning, Journal of Retirement Planning. All these stellar magazines have endorsed this as the key to a successful retirement, even if you're living off of your portfolio of bonds and stocks and annuities. You can still use this program if your house is paid off. You take the money that's available, you put it in a line of credit that grows tax-free, and when the market's doing bad, you can live off that money. You write checks and use that money rather than pulling money out of a portfolio that's losing value. This is big. This is a big deal. You can use the money to purchase long-term care insurance. That's a big deal for people that say, I have no money. And I will tell you, you have no money because you're allocating your money in a way that suggests that you're considerably younger. Young people pay mortgages. They've got working years ahead of them. They can do it. But when you are a senior and you got a mortgage and you're living on a fixed income, my God, and you still got repairs. I mean, the roof is not infinite. The furnace is not permanent. You've got upgrades and improvements on the home. And then, did I not forget? You have real estate taxes. Oh, yes. You got to pay taxes. Under the HECM, you're going to pay those taxes too. The government has to be paid. Real estate taxes keep a community going. takes care of the children in school systems, pays for the beautiful parks you are free to enjoy, and a lot of other things. They need your real estate taxes. You need to keep your homeowners active as well under that program because if the house burns down, the house has to be paid for, okay? So I'm sharing with you, that's known as the HECM, HECM, HECM. And that is the new kid on the block, and it's a game changer because once you don't have to allocate all that money to pay for a mortgage, and stop talking to me about tax benefits when you're older. That's for young people. You're in the wrong time zone. Fast forward to where you are today. Makes a huge difference in where you're heading. So the senior crisis is real. It's not going anywhere, and my recommendation to you is to be prepared, to be disciplined in your buying decisions, and to exercise self-control. If you think about it twice, you probably don't need it. And that's what I'm going to say. And while I'm saying some things, this might be a good time for you to strip down and get, just have in your house things that you really want. I think in America, we have so much stuff in our homes. It's amazing. But donate. We've got the Goodwill. We've got AMVETS. We've got all kinds of organizations that will be glad to have your stuff, including all those clothes that you don't wear much anymore because you're in a different season. I hope this has been beneficial to you, this conversation we've had today. Preparedness, self-discipline, self-control. That's how you get through this senior crisis. Don't spend money on things that you don't need. And most of all, enjoy your life. Live it abundantly, vibrantly, with no regrets. You can do it. I'm doing it. And I'm confident you'll get through this with joy. I'm Michelle Graves. Thank you for being a part of my world for this past hour. And as always, in closing, I send you love. I send you peace. I send you joy. And I'll see you the next time. God bless, and you take care.